Hello everybody, this is Dave Wilhelmsen here, and I'm going to be giving you an art lesson today in watercolors. The watercolor we're going to be doing today is this painting up here. It's a desert scene here, Arizona desert scene of a sunset. See the mountain in the background and the cactus here. And I think you can do it. It's basically pretty simple, and with watercolors it's going to be all right. We're going to get into the drawing of it first, and I'll guide you through that. But before that happens, we go through our supplies again. I have my palette of watercolors. You see there's a lot of colors here, but basically a lot of them we're going to use only maybe about 5 of them. The primary colors we'll try to stick with. I might go out and get a gold one or something, but basically a watercolor palette you need. All right, I have a little mixing area here, or you could use a plastic plate or styrofoam plate to mix some of your colors. We have a paper towel. A couple paper towels would help. Your pencil, a cup of water, a glass of water. Okay, and I have just 2 brushes here. There's a quite large brush here. This is a number, I think this is number 12. A number 12 and a number 8. And they're watercolor brushes. You could use bristle brushes too. And then most importantly, we have our watercolor pad or tablet. And I use 140 weight paper, which is the ideal. So you can do it on any sketch paper and that, but it happens to weave and, you know, get funky after a while. Okay, so we're going to start with the lesson now. Pick up your pencil, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to follow what I did up here. I'm going to be doing the foreground with the cactus and then the mountain line. Okay, so we're going to start almost here. We have the halfway mark here on the left side. I like to start with this, a halfway mark on the left side. You're going to mark your paper and a halfway mark on the right side, okay? And then you're going to put just on the top, right in the middle, just about the middle I approximate, we're going to put a mark on the top there. And that's all you need to know. So now, between the halfway mark on the left and the bottom, we're going to start this line here. It goes up and down. We're going to do an irregular line, and it's going to go right over to this one, halfway down on the right side. So I'm going to go like a craggedy line here, goes up and down and down. Okay, we have a horizon line here of this ridge. Okay, that's right up here. Okay, then I'm going to do the mountain. We're going to start again from between here, the middle point, and the top, and I'm going to put a line here. And on the right side, I'm going to put it between the middle and the top and make a mark there. So we're going to do this mountain, and we're trying to make the mountain in the middle there. I'm going to start, and, arch up and do the middle. Then we come back down, and we're going to down here. Okay, you got it? Left up to the middle line there, leave a little bit of sky, like a 1/2 inch, and then go back down again. Now, we're going to do these cactus. Right in the middle, just to make this a little easier for you all, we're going to do this cactus. A saguaro cactus looks like this. We're going to just do a line up like that, down like that. Okay? And the arm of the cactus, we're going to put it like this, sticking out. And we'll do one up a little bit higher, sticking out there. We got our saguaro cactus there. How about we do another saguaro cactus halfway down over here? Not as big. Let's make this a small one. There we go. We go up maybe a couple inches and back down. And we have that. Now we're going to put an arm on that one on one side and an arm on the other side. There we go for the saguaros with arms. Now we're going to do a saguaro halfway between the left side and the middle saguaro, and we're going to do a not as big as that. We're going to do another saguaro, just straight with no arms. And over here on this hill, we're going to do another saguaro that same size, and we'll do a small one next to it. Now, there's other type of cactus called prickly pear. They have like these ears on them, and they gather. You see them up here. And what's nice is we're just doing the shadow, these pictures. We're not getting into detail painting the cactuses. We're just doing a shadow with them, very dark. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a bunch of circles here that are joined together. There's one. We're going to put one between these two saguaros here. A whole bunch of circles. Okay, and then on this one, we'll put a smaller one. You can have fun. You don't have to do them exactly like mine. You could have them bigger or smaller. And then we'll do a couple of blades coming out here, and a couple blades coming out here of grass, of thistles, which are desert grasses. Okay, so you have a drawing look like this. Okay. We're going to get into more details as we start with painting. We don't have to draw everything in. So now you should have a drawing like this. I'll give you a little bit of time. Remember, we started with the line going here, the horizon line here in the foreground. That's up in front. Okay. Then we did the mountain. We started from the middle here. Middle, top, and then we go all the way up there, leave about a ½ inch. If you have your eraser, you want to make it, you want to have some sky there. You don't want to touch the top. Then we got into these saguaros, a straight one with no ears, the biggie with the ears, a smaller with ears, and then a couple straight ones here. And then the little prickly pears, little circles around. I'm going to fill them all in with a dark paint anyway. And now we're going to start with painting. Now, first of all, I want you to put both of your brushes in the cup of water here. Get them wet, okay? And then we're going to get them out of there. And we're going to dab them on our paper towel, okay? So they're nice and damp. I'll have them ready. I'm going to use my large one on this one, okay? I'm going to show you my palette. I'm always holding my paper towel, okay? You can have it on the table there, and if you have it on the table, put something under it so it doesn't move around. But I'm holding it up. It's easier for me to show you. I have my palette. We're going to start with yellow. Now what I'm going to ask to do is I'm going to be putting the water into the yellow there to get it wet. So it makes the paint that's very dry there, dry watercolor. It makes it very wet, and I got a whole bunch of yellow, really strong color yellow on my brush. Now wait till you see what I apply it. It's really wet, this brush, so I'm putting a little bit on my paper towel. If it's too wet, it's going to go running down, and that's okay. We can fix that. I'll show you later. We're going to go through the middle here with the yellow and on top of this mountain. So we're going to go right through those cactus. We're going to go between, you see your middle line here? We're going to go right above that middle line and go to the other middle line here. So you see I'm going to make mine really bold so you can see it, the color. Okay. Now, if you're having a problem with the colors running, you could do it flat on a table. I'm doing it up on an easel so you can see me. But if you do it flat on a table, you'll have much more control of the paint not running down. If it's upright, you have your paper towel, and I just dab it a little lightly like that along the bottom. Okay? I have that. I'm going to make it a little bit brighter. I have some loud yellow in there, so I'm dipping my brush in. I'm not adding any more water to it. It's still damp and wet. And I'm putting that in there because yellow really is an important color to get in here. Now I'm going to go up above the mountain line on the ridge of the top of the mountain with the sun shining over it, and I'm going to go right like this, taking the edge of my brush. This is the large brush, but you could use your smaller brush if you want. And I'm going along the ridge here. All right. Now it should start to look like that. Okay. Now another thing you could do with this color here, since we're only using it against the white on the top, the white sky, I washed my brush out of the yellow. That's another important thing. When you go from color to color, you always wash out your brush in the water cup. Get all that color out. Okay. I'm going to use this large brush again. I'm going to use up here and make it just damp, and I'm going to go along here and I'm blending it and softening that line of the yellow onto the sky so it's not just a line. And you have a nice muted color where it blends to the white. It's not just that hard line. Okay, so now again, still with the large brush, I'm moving on to the next color. We're going to move into an orange. We're going to do here on the top and the bottom. Here we go again, it's too wet. And what I do is in the middle here, I'm going to take my yellow, which is the weaker color. I'm going to put it in the middle here. Okay. Now, being yellow is the weaker color, and I said to wash out your brush, this one, we're going to take a little bit of artistic license and we're going to go right into the red. All right, take some of the red and mix it with the yellow. So you know when you mix yellow and you mix red, you get a orange. This is going to be a weaker orange, so I'm going to brush. I'm going to get some more of that yellow in here. Okay, and red. Now, I'm going to dip it onto my paper towel, just get some of that out of there, and I'm doing it up right below it. I'm going to get some of this orange. And you lay in one color, it's very muted, so I'm adding more red, and now you see how I'm doing it? I'm putting more red below it. I'm going right through all the cactus and the hill there, because we're going to cover that all up later on. Now what I keep doing is, we're going to have fun with this. I'm just going to keep doing red, 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 straight red, all the way down. Okay, I'm going to get some more thing here. This is probably only time you're going to use this much red, so if you're running out of the red, alright. Alright. Watercolor usually is a very muted color, and to get this really bright, bold color is difficult. You have to keep dipping into it and really get on with it, the least amount of water that you can. Now, I have another thing here. I'm going to be going back to my yellow here and try to get my orange up there. And now above it, I'm going to be putting some of that orangey, light orange on it. Now, what I told you before is I'm going to blend. If your brush is getting dry, dip it into the water cup, this water cup here. See that there? And now I'm going to get some red up here, and we're going to stop. Now, what I said about breaking up lines of color, I'm going to wash out my brush here, and I'm making it just damp, and I'm going to blend this color down here into the yellow. Go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with just a wet brush that's washed out. And then up on the top there, I'm going to do the same thing. Wash my brush out, just make it damp. And right here between where it meets the yellow and that orange I made on the top, and bit that. So you have like a transition of blending of the colors. And you know, with watercolor, the nice uniqueness is you see the brush stroke, some of it. You want that. That brings out like the watercolor technique. We're going to get up into this. This is a purple. So to get the purple, if you don't have purple in your palette, you're going to mix red and blue. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to first put in my red onto my palette. I used up all the other colors, so I have plenty of room here in my one palette. I got red. And now I'm going to move over the blue. I didn't wash it out because the blue is very strong, so I went right over it. Let's see what we end up here. Here we are. We're going to go up here. That's sort of like a blue. going to use my other blue, my dark blue. I had a light blue I was using. And let's see now. Okay, up on the top, I'm going along those lines that I sketched in before. Okay, so now we have that purple. All right, now I'm washing out my brush. I'm going to do some blending. Wipe it on my paper towel. All right. Going back and forth between the lines that blend the colors, the two colors. So the purple blends right into this nice reddish orange that goes into the yellow, and then that's blended. So we have that transition there, okay? And if there's any forward blend, just wash your brush out again. You don't want to try to drag too many colors together, and then you'll get mud. I'm going to go back down here and add some straight red again, okay? You don't have to see my palette. I showed my palette before, but the straight red will make it really deep for that sunset, okay? Down here, and down here, the very lower parts of the painting. Okay, here we go again. We're going to wash the brush. You're saying you're doing all this work with the large brush, maybe. We're going to use the smaller brush on the cactus. That's what we need it for. Okay. Okay, so I blended that. Dry out the brush a little more. Do some more blending here. Okay. It soaks into the paper very nicely, being watercolor paper. If you don't have watercolor paper, then the colors and the water rest on the top, and you might have to use your paper towel to blot it a little bit. But you got to be careful about blotting, because sometimes they'll take the color up, you know. It'll take too much color. That's a whole different technique. We'll get onto another lesson. Now what I want to do is I'm going to start doing the cactus, but what the color we want in that is a very, very deep color. So I have on my palette a dark violet purple, and you could get the same result if you put together red and green. So I'm going to be doing the dark purple now. And I have a dark brown. All right. So dark purple and dark brown will get you the same result as red and green together are very strong dark color. You're going to put equal amounts of red and green together. So let me just show you this. I'm going to go and do this here, this prickly pear. Okay, I'm going to have fun with that. It's just so free form. Now the saguaro. Okay, and then we're going to do another prickly pear here. Let me get more of this purple. Not so much water on your brush, just that it's damp or wet enough to hold the color in it. All right, so now we got the other saguaro. I'm leaning on this picture. It's all dry up here to get a firm hand, so my hand's not going to, I won't slip out of this drawing I made. And I go in and I fill in. And those of you that are working on a flat surface, this should be easier for you. Okay, so now this is just filling in the lines. And then over here, this ear here. And then, oh, if it starts dripping, as I said, you got to just use your paper towel and pick it up. Use some water on another brush or this brush, wash it out, and you can remove it with the water and keep blotting it with the paper towel. So this way you can get the runs away, or if it's going too far out of the lines. Okay. And here we go. Do more of these little prickly pear cactus here on the ridge, and then another cactus. right. And one last here, or another one, little one here. And another one here, a straighty. Okay, now I'm going to put some blades of grass there, that thistle grass. There we go. Okay, a couple here and a couple here. All right, so now it looks like we're ready to do the hill. I'm just going to do an outline of this hill here, this ridge. This way you can fill in at the bottom. You see what I did up here. And I'm going to fill in, get my wet brush and fill that in. But what we're going to do is we're going to use some different colors to bring out some really nice definition in there, like some other, instead of just making it all purple. I'll show you what we're going to do. For those of you that are using red and green, it's going to be that type of combination. But a lot of like deeper colors of green and into some blue. So we have that outline. Now wash out my brush and putting that the smaller brush away, we're going to get back to our larger brush. I'm running out of red. I'm going to get a little more red here, and I'm going to be putting it into my red thing here. Went through a lot of red, which isn't unusual. But you don't necessarily need the red if you don't want. You can mix blues and greens, and if you have purples. So now what we're going to do is we're going to wet this. I'm going to wet the whole bottom here. Look at that. Now it's running down. Okay, I'm going to wet the whole bottom here and make the paper on the bottom where the ridge is all wet. Okay, look at that. And then we're going to get into mixing our color. Getting the paper prepared, even though some of this just might be damp by the time we get to it. So now I have my red. I have some other dark bluish purplish color there. I'm going to add red to it. Okay, put red in there. Wow, look at that nice red, red, red. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I have to wash out my brush. I'm going to put green into that. Okay, I'm using a light green for now. I'm going to get as much green out of there as I can. I didn't wet it. That's the thing. We want to wet the paint. It's the dry watercolor, and we got that in there. Now I'm going to add this into this red, so I have like a muddy color. Now that muddy color looks good, but I'm going to wash my brush again, and I'm going to add a blue. I have a deeper blue here, ultramarine blue, and I'm getting as much of that as I can. Okay, I'm getting my blue. I'm going to add that. Now, I have like this really deep, complex color, and I'm putting it in here. Now, this doesn't look too dark yet, but we're going to lay color onto color. Okay, I'm doing the top of the ridge. That's where all our contrast will come in with the deeper colors. Okay, use my deeper color here. Okay. I'm just going to go across the bottom again and bring that color down. And you can see now what I'm getting at. I'm going to add some darker color up here now while I got my colors. Do the top of the mountain. Okay. And then we're going to get away from this for a while. I'm going to do some other background color here. Okay. What I do is wash out my brush, blot it onto my paper towel, and I go across here with the damp brush, blend it. Now with a small brush, we do have the small brush again to do. We're going to do this background in here. You should be able to see it. There's like a hazy thing of the distance of those cactus. Now I'm going to add to that murky color I got there, I'm going to add red to it. Okay. I'm going to add yellow to that. I got to get all my yellow. And it's going to be like this orange, deep orange color. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line here that's going through the cactus, but we're not painting through the cactus, we're doing between them. I'm going to go with that line of that orange, making it a wavery line. You see that? We didn't have to put this in pencil. I really want the pencil to be seen. This is like a distant background color. It's going all over. Now we're going to fill that in, the bottom. Go around your cactus, cut in. Okay, I'm getting a little wetter here. This way the paint flows better. Okay. Okay, here we go. Getting that nice background color there. This is something in the distance, these cactus in the distance. And here. Now I'm going to put in some, I'm going to get some more yellow and blend it into that reddish color I just made here. Now I want to do the cactus. I'm doing these faded out cactus here. So I'm going to do one here. And I'm going to put some arms on it. And a small one here. And another a large one there. And a small one there. Maybe put some make a large one with arms here. We could play around with this. You can put whatever you want in here, of what type of cactus. And then back here. Okay, with another saguaro. This is what gives it some depth, that this is in the distance. I'm going to put some little round things in there. Okay. Now you see that that's in the distance. I'm going to do a slight wash where down here where it meets. There might be some things there. And we're just going to come down here. This should be the last part. I'm going to take my big brush again. I got that nice red in there. I'm going to add more red in there. Okay, I got that red. I'm going to add some of my brown. That's my darkest color. If you have brown, use that. If not, you got to use your darkest blue. I'm getting into my darkest blue and purple. I'm putting them all together here. Let me get a blue here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to paint this. I'm working down here. Okay. All right.
You want to pause it for 1 second?
Mm-hmm.
The initial closing, they close it. You can go again. They're not going to come through here.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize you were doing
Oh. Okay. So we're getting this now up to the top of the ridge here. I'm going to wash this. Okay, I'm going to wash out my brush. And we are going to put it over here and blend it. Okay. Okay. So we can get it even a little darker, but then the beauty of the watercolors is that you have those strokes that are so, you could keep adding more and more darker color here, but you will take away too much from the cactus here in the foreground and the mountain. So as I said, I could put more blue in there, and then I get all these different variations of color. Okay. Now I'm going to blend it again. What you could do too is watch this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take my paper towel, put my palette down. Take my palette down like this, fold it. I'm going to get only about 2 inches of material there, and I can drag it across. Look at that. Drag it across my thing. I can get the corner there. And I can get the corner there. And you see I'm getting definitions. Pick it to a corner like that, and I got some definitions in there, but that looks really dark. But this is turning out better and better. All right, so we have a nice desert sunset with all the cactus, and in the background, the faded cactus and the Royal Mountain with the yellow coming out, the brightness of that, and lighting up the whole valley. So I hope you all had a good time and enjoyed it, and look forward to the next lesson. Thank you.